Just before I go to the cars for today's video, I want to remind you that please do comment below your suggestions of who I should drive for in the F1 23 mod career that will be coming out in a couple of weeks time. There'll be a vote at the end of the next week's video, so if you don't get your submissions in, then yes, you have a chance your favourite driver or team will miss the chance to be voted on as well. If there aren't any comments, then I will just pick a random number. I'll get a a random number generator. But anyway, to the Mercedes then. Rear wing, I'm not going to lie, I had a bit of an issue with the mod. Basically, you can either have a black rear wing and no green, no turquoise stripe, or a turquoise rear wing and a turquoise stripe. Unfortunately, on F122 you can't have any of the either way. But I do love like this car, what I've done with it, like the Ineos red stripe. Slightly similar to what they've done, but it's around the roll hoop, I think, in real life, if I remember rightly as well. Obviously updated sponsors as well. I've noticed that the FDX logo, they very quietly removed that Codemasters in-game. But anyway, I've added the Snapdragon logo because of course that's pretty much the only new sponsors they've got. Now, Ferrari have also released their livery, but well, not you driving it, because the version I've created is nowhere near as good as the version that Ferrari have created in real life. Obviously, just restrictions due to the way the Ferrari car. And looking back at the Ferrari car on F122, this year's car just blows that out of the water every single time. So McLaren have had a slight recolour in the paint, basically to make it more happier orange than what it is on the base game. Other than that, just an update to sponsors. Obviously, each sponsor tried to obviously change the order. So obviously, with each car, I have to try and match what they've done in real life. But it's not always possible with teams like McLaren. You know, they got so many sponsors, it's very hard to try and find places for them to fit them all in. I think it's the same with like Ferrari, Alfa Romeo as well last week. You know, they just got so many sponsors it's hard to fit them in. Alpine, on the other hand, I didn't realise this, they've lost about 5 sponsors. Like, the front wings got less on it. They've lost quite a few sponsors, Alpine, with the departure of Fernando Alonso. I mean, obviously that bit coming out, with the waiting for the fireworks between Gasly and Ocon. Ocon says there aren't going to be any fireworks. I believe that when I see it. AlphaTauri, my version is 10,000 times better than the version they created. No red rear wing or anything like that because it just doesn't fit. But I have added that red stripe, which I think, you know, symbolises all on and looks fantastic. And the final car is Aston Martin, which their car is horrible because they've made it worse. They've taken away any of the green has pretty much gone, apart from the green at the bottom. Now obviously I haven't been able to take away the green at the top because without taking part of the green at the bottom, so I've left that in and it looks nicer in my opinion with the green at the top, the bit at the top as well. So it's time to have a race around Silverstone, driving as Sir Lewis Hamilton as well. Hopefully we can, well, have a good result at both of our home Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see. Silverstone, a good track for me on this year's game, or should say F122. Whether it's going to continue to be a good track on F123 or revert to type is yet to be seen. Race strategy though, I thought about this and decided to risk it because the default gives me 5 laps on softs, but if I go the alternate it gives me 6 laps on softs, only slightly slower, so I think that's what we're going to do. That could be a good strategy against the AI. So Vibrant Light Centre, the British Grand Prix, and away we go. And as usual on F122 for me, it's an absolutely shocking start. Sainz is already past, Leclerc and Perez not far behind as well, but now we can try and gain that position back. Can we get dive down the inside of Sainz at turn 3? Yes we can, and back up to P3 as the two Ferraris behind battle for 4th and 5th, but it's Sainz ahead of Leclerc. As we're watching, De Vries and Bottas side by side going through maggots and Beckett's, but Bottas is able to defend against the young Dutchman, or the old Dutchman I should say, because he's got older now. As we've got, Ocon making a lovely little move on Lando Norris in the McLaren, which will not please the home fans, and he's made the move at Maggots and Beckett's, as well as Leclerc's now going to go side by side through turn one. We just have enough to keep Leclerc behind in that Ferrari now. It's very crucial for this strategy to work that we keep Leclerc behind. And what's happened is Russell hasn't got the pace, and we've been pulled into his DRS. Leclerc, though, is still on our left-hand side there, but as we pull through there, we are able to force him out really a bit wide with a bit of understeer there. And Leclerc's actually not sure what happened to him there. So we went side by side through that section. I think he just lost it like Perez did in a previous time we're here in the, I can't remember which one, the Lotus video I think it was, and he did do it in similar fashion. Now we're catching up to our teammate George Russell, whose number's green this year, despite him having a blue helmet, as we make an easy move as he pits anyway, it turns out, from on lap 6, and we're going to do exactly the same one lap later. Perez will come in as well, but it is the problem with Silverstone, it's got one of the world's slowest and most painful pit lanes on the F1 calendar. My god, is it slow and terrible. As well, whoever designed it, there needs to be, they need to really redesign the pit lane to make it a little bit more, because 50 mile an hour, it's a pit lane, it's not meant to be fancy or anything. You leave the fancy corners on track. As well as there goes through Verstappen, so the lead is probably not, the win's probably not going to be on today, unfortunately, but can we get second place? Sainz, I think that is, in the Ferrari, has jumped Russell, and he's jumped ourselves as well. Russell has a go, but is unable to get, so Russell's lost 2 positions, he's down to P4. As well, Perez comes out behind Leclerc, but we've now got DRS on the Ferrari, we've got a bit of ERS having been in the pits. Now we're going to utilise both and try, can we get Sainz round the outside in the approach to Brooklands? Yes, we can. It gives us the inside for the next corner into Brooklands itself. As well, and we're able to push away as Perez and Leclerc on the hard tyre, for usual Ferrari strategy there. Nothing's changed over the winter for them in terms of this mod, but Perez is actually going to make a move around the outside, turns the inside for the penultimate corner, and lovely little move by Checo there. He's up to P5, Leclerc down to P6 there, as a long way behind. Gasly is on the move in the Alpine. He's caught up to Bottas. Bottas taking a leaf out of Ferrari's book at Alfa Romeo in their last year in the sport as a sponsor, and Bottas does able to defend for now, but they're still at it. Gasly with DRS now down the inside. Can he get the move on Bottas as well? I think that's to breeze out the road, so Bottas still holding on to some points play position. It's a lovely little move in the end, similar to Perez's earlier in the race, and Ocon is there, and is that Verstappen going slowly? It is. Verstappen is out of the race. The Honda-powered Red Bull has faltered at Red Bull's effectively second home Grand Prix, and that means that we do come across the line to win the British Grand Prix as Sir Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Well, will they be winning Grand Prix, do you think, in real life? Let me know in the comments below as well about that. Sainz gets driver of the day, finishing second as well. Perez finishing up in down in P3. Leclerc got Russell in the end, and De Vries is able to hold on to Ocon. So not Ocon, Gasly and Ocon there for 6th, 7th and 8th. Well, Norris and Bottas running out the top 10. So yes, that's where I'm going to leave it today's F123 mod episode. If you have enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more F123 mod episodes. Don't forget to comment below who I should be driving at for the F123 mod career. The vote will go out for next week's video, because next week I hope to be driving a Golf Williams Cup livery car. So make sure you get subscribed to see that. Until the next video then, I'll see you next time. Take care. Thanks so much for watching. Enjoy your day and goodbye.